Yep. All right, I'll officially call the Board of Library Trustees meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. My only opening remark is that this will be our last regularly scheduled library trustee meeting that can be held remotely. I think you all saw the mail. Unless something changes between now and July, this will be our last regular meeting. So I will now read the official notice. I am Michelle Rehill, Chair of the Board of Library Trustees. This open meeting of the Board of Library Trustees is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of the Board of Library Trustees are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the Board of Library Trustees to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. I will now do a roll call. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mitch Cohen.
Mitch Cohen, aye.
Jim Hogan.
Jim Hogan, aye.
Hamilton Soriano.
Hamilton Soriano, aye.
Nita is not present. Charles Recchia.
Charles Recchia, aye.
Joan Scott.
Joan Scott, aye.
Richard Tucker is also not present, and Michelle Rehill is present. So I did make my opening remark. The governor of the state the Commonwealth has said that as of June 15th, we cannot continue to have our meetings, remote meetings, unless it can be partial, but at the town level, the town doesn't have the capability of allowing us to have some members present on site and some members remote, if I understood all of that clearly. So this will be the last regular trustees meeting that will be held remotely. So in July, we all get together in the library. I hope the conference room will be ready for us. Hooray. Oh, and also, hi, Kate. So having concluded my opening remarks, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 12th meeting?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of May 12th, 2021 as presented.
All right, is there a second? Anyone?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Charles. All right, and I will do the roll call for approval. All those in favor of approving the minutes. Mitch Cohen.
Mitch Cohen, aye.
Jim Hogan.
Jim Hogan, aye.
Hamilton Soriano.
Hamilton Soriano, aye.
Charles Recchia.
Charles Recchia, aye.
Joan Scott.
Joan Scott, aye.
And Michelle Rehill also says aye. All right. We will move on to the FY 2021 appropriations report. Are there any questions from the trustees or comments from the director? Oh, I forgot to also say present, Jen Bruno. As if you weren't here. Sorry. Are there any questions or comments about the financial? Yes, Mitch.
My only question, and it might be answered later if we talk about the plumbing repairs that are necessary, is where, Jen, out of the budget you envision seeing that money be taken from?
We have quite a bit of excess in, I believe it's the repairs budget, and there's a utilities. I think there's a surplus there. So I think when I last looked at it, we had about $66,000 remaining in the appropriations budget. So it will come from probably one of those line items.
Okay. Yeah, I just obviously don't want to make sure we don't risk books and periodicals and so forth.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments about the report? If not, then we will move on to the library director's report. Boy, May was a fun month for you.
Everything that could break has broken. But fortunately, it's nothing outrageously expensive and nothing that can't be repaired. So it's been a busy month, but it's all good. Does anybody have any questions?
I do not, but I had to go, just sharing with the trustees, I had to go and sign some paperwork at the library today. So I went to look at the computer workstation in the children's room. And when you go into the library, it's worth a wander in there to look at it because it's very bright and colorful. And the keyboard is different colors. The keys on the keyboard are all different colors. So that, the numbers on the keyboard are one color, and you can see the vowels on it, and it has some really cool software on it. So it was fun. So other than that, does anybody want to talk about the plumbing or anything else?
I actually had just a real quick question on the on page 3 of the director's report. The May 2012 statistics for the teens.
Okay.
What is the I'm drawing a blank on, so it says programs attendance, and then to the right of that it says 9/35/17. What does that mean? The 9/35/17.
You gotta pull it up now.
Isn't it,
It's probably the number of programs.
oh yeah. Total number of programs. The
Yep.
people is it people who registered, people who attended, and the number who registered?
Yes.
So there's 3 numbers. Let's see. Okay. Okay.
Yep,
Got
so it would be-
9/35. Okay. Thanks.
All right. I really have to think about that one.
Yeah, it wasn't immediately obvious, and it's still, even after having it explained, I'm still struggling, but that's fine. I'll listen to the YouTube of this and figure it out.
Well, there's, when she does for each individual, she says how many people attended.
Yep.
And there's a slash and the number of people who registered for it. And occasionally, it's usually, in the past, it seemed to be that there, like 6 people might register for a program, but only 5 of them attended. It seems to be the other way now that some of the things are online. More kids attend programs than register for it, which I think I find very interesting. So that extra number at the very top, the 9, that's the total number of programs.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So,
And then 35 is the number who actually showed up, and 17 is what she was expecting.
Gotcha. Okay.
so, yeah, it's, I've been looking.
I'll ask, I can see how there's an easy way to make that clearer going forward. So I'll talk to Bonnie and we can just move it to the bottom.
Yeah, there's probably also a way to make it less clear, but yeah, that's.
Oh, there's a lot of ways to make it less clear.
I'll take a crack at it. Well, like before you know it, you won't be able to understand a single thing on there. So the reopening is going well. People showing up in
is.
the library.
Yep, it's going really well. We're finding that even though we're no longer requiring masks, that the majority of people are still wearing them. No problems with, we're strongly recommending that people wear masks in the children's room to protect unvaccinated children. We've had absolutely no pushback about that. Most people, like I said, most people are wearing their masks anyway. People are just really happy to be back. So it's been really fun. It's getting to know people.
I keep forgetting that you haven't met the public. So this is really, again, it must be a great experience, really fun. Very
It
different.
is.
Awesome.
One of the things that I think we should do when we're comfortable doing it is having sort of a welcome party for Jen, even though you've been here. We haven't had a chance to introduce you to the public. And I think we as the trustees should do that at some point.
Yeah.
I will never turn down a party.
Okay. Be careful what you say. We can promote it as the woman behind the mask, or have the unveiling. Drop a gigantic mask down and have Jen be there.
Please make that happen.
Ooh, in my big mouth. All right. Any other? I'm making a note.
Giant mask. Jen party.
That's it right there. Okay. I might put you in charge of that though, Mitch. Since you reminded me that we should do it.
As long as it's not as involved as the 150th that we had a couple of years ago.
Nope.
It was fun.
Bigger.
It was a lot of work.
It was
Bigger.
I had fun. I really did once, but I had fun.
fun. It was nice. It's very nice.
Michelle, if I could, just before we leave the director's report, Jen, you had solved one of the nagging problems that we had never been able to solve before, which is eliminate one of our internet connections.
Yes.
The technology when we used to meet in the before times, we're always struggling with why on earth we really have 3 connections, because there's the administrative one, which makes sense, but we had 2 for patrons, depending upon which computers they were using. And somehow we could never get through that. I don't even remember why, but you've found a way to get rid of one of them, and that's wonderful. So thank you very much.
It was probably your switch. It only had so many ports and it was full. And we didn't have a fast enough connection, I think, to really put more computers on there until very recently. The line speed had increased, and then CW Mars happened to have that extra switch. So that really
I have some recollection that we did increase the speed with the hope of doing that, but there was a question as to whether CW Mars wanted some of the other things on their network, or I don't remember the details. It was probably 2 years ago was the last time we talked about it. But it's it's minor, although it does save us a measurable amount of money. But it's the technology management to remember and figure out, okay, which network are we on now? Was a lot. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you. It is going to be a lot easier to manage and keep track of everything now.
I love it when we make progress.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions or comments about the director's report? If not, we will move on to the old business, which is to vote for the slate of officers for FY 2022. And in case you don't know, the report of the nominating committee is in the minutes from the last meeting. We will be voting for the following slate. Chairperson Michelle Rehill, Vice Chair Mitch Cohen, Treasurer Hamilton Soriano, and Secretary James Hogan. So, is there any discussion about that slate of officers? Seeing none, I will ask, do I have to ask for a motion to vote or do? How do, okay, yeah, this one's just,
I'll make a motion to elect the slate of officers as presented. If that
All
works,
right.
for you, Michelle.
all right,
Are we doing them all together? We can do it
Yes.
that way? Okay, perfect.
so it's one vote for the slate of officers. Mitch has made the motion to do that. Would someone like to second that motion?
I will second it.
Okay. All right, and I will do a roll call vote. For all those in favor of accepting the slate of officers as presented. Mitch Cohen,
Mitch Cohen, aye.
Jim Hogan,
Jim Hogan, aye.
Hamilton Soriano,
Hamilton Soriano, aye.
Charles Recchia,
Charles Recchia, aye.
Joan Scott,
Joan Scott, aye.
and Michelle Rehill also votes aye. The motion carries in the affirmative unanimously for all members present. Congratulations, candidates. I know that you've been biting your nails over this one. Is there any new business that may come before the board at this time? Seeing none, I will move on to saying the date of the next meeting will be July 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. And we will be in person at the library. No other business. We covered that. The chair would accept a motion to adjourn the meeting. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll move that we adjourn. Yep, Charlie.
Okay,
I'll second it.
thank you, Joan. All right, and a roll call vote in favor of adjourning the meeting. Mitch Cohen,
Mitch Cohen, aye.
Jim Hogan,
Jim Hogan, aye.
Hamilton Soriano,
Hamilton Soriano, aye.
Charles Recchia,
Charles Recchia, aye.
Joan Scott,
Joan Scott, aye.
and Michelle Rehill also votes aye. The meeting is adjourned at 7:09.